Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we are going to be looking at the Loop Gear SK03. What a funky looking flashlight, and Loop is a relatively new flashlight brand that I noticed just over the last year, and they do make some really unique looking flashlights, and you can see they look quite different from anything else out there in the market. So I thought it'd be nice to reach out to Bruce and see if they could provide me a sample. So they did, and yeah, have this here for review today. So the light is quite unique because it's got a dual beam function. So you've got these side LEDs here. There's actually three sets of two there on the side, and then you've got the main LED just on the head. So it's a dual beam kind of function, and there's also an ability to just make these side lights glow very dimly so that it pretty much looks like tritium. So let's have a look at what you get in the box, and here it is. And I'll just show you the battery as well. And Loop do include a 14500 cell, and it's charged right through this USB port directly on the battery itself. And here is the box, and you got this little instruction manual when you first, instruction label when you first get the light, and you've got the manual here as well. I'm going to pause the video and have a quick look. You can do so now. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. There is a warranty, so 5-year warranty for the flashlight, 1-year warranty for the battery. So that's good news. And yeah, pretty much it. I like simple manuals. That means that the UI is going to be easy enough for me to figure out without having to read through anything. That's what the manual came in. Now, this is super cool. Loop include a bunch of these little colored, what do you call them, clip-on thingos. So how they work essentially is that you just grab the little attachment like this and you just clip it on. So there's a couple of attachment points you see there, and just press and snap on. Okay, this allows you to get different colored beams off the side LED. So the normal LED that comes on it is basically like a white, like a warm white color, but by attaching these little snap-on bits of plastic, you can get yellow. This is, yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like, it's gray. I wonder why they've included that one. There is a blue one here and a red one, which I think I'll probably be using the most. You also get some accessories. So this is, yeah, it's interesting looking lanyard. It's almost just sticks out the back, and like you can hang it onto stuff, but I wouldn't call it a, yeah, like a traditional lanyard. Interesting looking thing. There's a couple of O-rings there as well. You do get a USB-C charging cable. There it is in there. I've just got so many of them, I don't bother taking them out anymore. So there it is. And they also give you a little screwdriver here, a little torque screwdriver, and it has something to do with these screws here on the side. I haven't bothered to you know, unscrew them for any reason. I think that's linked actually to the inner tube there. So yeah, I'm not sure why you'd need to unscrew them. So here's a little side-by-side comparison between the Loop SK03 next to my Workhorse TS10 and Pokelit AA, and you can see it's pretty much the same size as the TS10, a little bit longer just due to the button sticking out the back a bit more. Then you've got the Pokelit AA here on the left. It's a little bit thinner, but also longer. And yeah, really can tell construction quality is amazing on this light. So here's a little close-up of the Loop SK03. And Loop offer this light in 3 materials, so aluminium, stainless steel, and titanium. And mine is the aluminium version. You can also opt for a version that comes with a multi-function bracket. I've seen other reviewers get that model, and it basically replaces this clip here and allows you to rotate the light in various positions while you attach it to objects magnetically, so you can have it maybe stuck on the fridge or underneath the car or something like that. So it's got a pretty eye-catching design. There's definitely a lot going on, but in a good way. You know, it's tastefully done, And the build quality, like I mentioned before, is excellent. You know, there's there's no rough spots and no sharp spots as well. When you look at these lights that have tons of these little cutouts, especially on the body, sometimes you can find in some other brands that there'll be a bit of sharpness, especially in the budget brands, but there's no issue at all here. And yeah, rather than just using a single tube to construct a light, you can see the SK03 is machined from multiple parts that are joined together. You know, the head is separate, even anodized differently from the body here, the outer tube, and there's an inner tube there as well. That forms a nice contrast against the gray. There's a bit of texture on that inner tube as well. Some lines machined into the inner tube, but yeah, nice contrast against the gray. Double-sided clip. You've got a single large button here on the end, and yeah, the button is almost silent, which I like, but it does require a confident press to activate, which is something I really like, especially when you've got the button sticking out a bit. You know, it doesn't sit flush on the back of the light. You get a couple of LED choices with the SK03. So I have the 6500K version of this light, and when you look on the Loop website, they only list it as a Philips LED, but apparently it's a Cree XP G4, produces 1000 lumens. You can also get this light, the Nichia 4000K 519A. So I think for a lot of you guys, you might prefer that one. For me, I just prefer the brighter option. Frosted TIR lens, just to diffuse that light. And, you know, the bezel diameter is a little bit larger than the body, a tiny bit larger. And, you know, cool thing as well is that there is a bit of glow in the dark material underneath the lens. So it produces a cool bluish glow. Okay, so I've got the light on, turbo for a bit. Let's turn it off. And there you go. How cool is that? Let's fade fairly quickly though, especially on camera. So on the side of the light, you can see that there are these LED strips. So there's 3 times 2 of them here on the side. Okay, so I've just bumped the ISO up a little bit on my camera so that it looks roughly how I would see it, or how I actually see it, without any filters or modification. So yeah, it's actually brighter than tritium, and you can activate those side lights like that, or you can actually go into the UI and activate them fully to get different modes. So that's one, and like a lower flashy mode, beacon mode. You got like a lower mode like that as well. And you can see the beam profile. It's like a 360-degree beam profile, especially if you take off that clip, it sort of creates a strange artifact there. But, you know, this is perfect for just laying down if you're doing a little bit of work. Maybe you're out camping or something like that. Maybe you're in the car, you just need to leave the light on untouched for a bit, and you know, that's pretty bright as well. Like that should reach at least a few meters. The great thing about these LEDs as well on the side is that they are high CRI. We'll go through some of the measurements of them later on, but yeah, again, perfect if it's hanging from the top of a tent, used as a work light as well. And you would already notice that there is no onboard charging on the SK03. So you're going to need to use a battery that has a charging port on it, or just charge the battery separately outside the flashlight. And you can also, thankfully, use normal alkaline AA's in there, nickel metal hydride cells, which is what I use as well, which means that there is a boost driver in this light. So I'm going to go through the UI, just show you how it's used. Pretty simple. So there are 8 clicks if you want to lock and unlock the light. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see it flashes a couple of times, and that means it's locked. Now, if you press and hold that button on the back, you basically get medium mode. Okay, so there's a nice little momentary medium mode. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. It's gone back to the last mode that I had it on. Now, if you want to turn on these micro lights on the side, all you have to do is just press this back button 5 times to turn them on and off. So I think I had them on before, now they are turned off. Now, in order to access the main light here in the front, the main LED, basically you have to have it unlocked, and then you just press once and it goes to memory mode. Hold for low, medium, high. Okay, low, medium, high. And at any point, you can double press for turbo, right? You can also double press from off for turbo. Okay, 3 clicks will get you strobe, and press and hold for SOS mode. Okay, and it's interesting because they've used like a lower mode for the SOS mode, lower power, gonna last a bit longer. Signal if you're gonna need it, and you've also got a beacon mode here as well by pressing and holding. So in order to access the side light from off, you have to press and hold for 1 second. So press and hold. Okay. Oh, that's pretty bright. And yeah, it's difficult to even stare at it. It's just so blinding. But really nice sort of floodlight. You can press and hold again to access a lower, well, that's beacon, but one more time to access a lower side lamp mode like that. It's almost like a moonlight mode, I suppose. And you can't have both the front light and the side light on at the same time. All right, so I ran a couple of ceiling bounce tests. This one here is on the turbo mode, so 1000 lumens. So you pretty much get the full output up until the 30-second mark where the light steps down quite suddenly, and you get about 1/4 output. And you can see ended the test past the 12-minute mark, but it was holding nice and steady. So this is another ceiling bounce test that I ran on 220 lumens, and I ran this one actually a lot longer than I usually do. I just wanted to see what the behavior was like on this light, and you can see here it lasts pretty much between 90 and 100% up until about 25 minutes, and strangely it just goes up a little bit, almost like it just boosts the voltage. And you can see just after the 100-minute mark, the light is on about 50 to 60% output. Also ran a bunch of tests with my Opal Light Master Pro, and you can see here on the high mode, I got 95 meters of throw. It's a little bit less than the 120 meters stated, but you know, I wasn't expecting this to have a huge amount of throw given the small bezel on here and the frosted TIR lens. Still pretty decent for a little light. And on medium, 46 meters as well, so about half. And you can see the CRI range from 68 to 69 with this LED. So the CCT was interesting. I measured 5,300 to 5,500. So yeah, about 1,000 off the 6,500K that's stated, but it's not a big deal for me. I think a lot of people also prefer warmer LEDs, but yeah, it's just strange that it was a fair bit off. You can see here on the flood mode, so just all these side LEDs here, put them on high, and you know, don't get too much throw, you get about 5 meters, which is decent for these smaller LEDs on the side. But you know, good thing is that it measured at 94 CRI, very impressed, and even warmer, so 4,600K. The Loop SK03 produces really nicely diffused light, so that's, you know, definitely owing it to this frosted TIR lens, and of course the domed LED you can see in there as well. So definitely, you know, it's not a thrower, but it produces a nice, useful beam, okay, for probably short to mid-range. So some considerations that you'll need to be aware of. Now, there is no built-in charging, like I mentioned before. So yeah, the included 14500 does come with a USB-C port on it, but in terms of replacements, you know, if it doesn't come with one, you're going to have to charge that battery separately, or you can just chuck in a normal AA battery, nickel metal hydride alkaline. It is less bright, though significantly less bright. A second consideration is that this light is a little bit pricier for a 14500 cell light. I mean, it's not super pricey, but it is a little bit more, but it is built quite well, you can see, and definitely is a really unique looking light. So if it's something, you know, if you want something that's just a bit different than what's out there, and it's not just in terms of looks as well, I do like that has this sort of side floodlight here, which expands the functionality, especially in such a little light like this. Managed to squeeze in these extra LEDs there on the side. And the third consideration is the threads. They're not anodized on back. Just think that might be good for them to do in the future, especially because I do like to lock my lights out mechanically as well, just unscrewing the tail cap slightly. So on first glance, when I was looking at this light, I thought it might be a bit gimmicky, but actually when you get closer and start using the SK03, you see there's a reason why they've done things differently. You know, just small little attention to detail things like the glow in the dark material under the head. Normally people put an O-ring on the side and it doesn't look as nice, and it's usually green. I like that it's a cooler blue color, and underneath as well you've got these LED strips on the side of the light as well, which are awesome. High CRI, and you can run them for ages, especially on the low mode, and we just need a tiny bit of light and just a tiny bit of practical light as well in all directions. I like this button on the back. I like that how it's just so quiet, but also requires a firm press. Doesn't feel cheap. And that frosted TIR lens as well, efficient emitter. It's regulated driver in there. I think it all together makes for a near perfect EDC flashlight. So if you're interested in getting one, I have a special discount voucher in the video description. And yes, go ahead and have a look there. And if you have any questions about this light as well, just go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you if there's anything I missed out. And if you like this video, do me a big favor, click the like button and share it with a friend. It's probably one of the few ways that my videos get recommended out. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews, keep up to date with the latest news, make sure you subscribe. Loop SK03, and I'm going to cycle through the different modes. This is low mode, and you can't really see it so well on camera. It's more so, a few meters ahead. Okay, we've got medium mode. You can see there's a bin right at the back side of the building. So medium mode is, pretty decent for most purposes, really. Okay, now high mode bumps it up a notch, so you can really see all the way to the back of those bins and the side of that building as well. A bit of the writing on the building, even the top of the building as well. Okay, but definitely all across the ground there's ample amounts of spill on high. Now turbo, this just really lights everything up, and tons of light. I'll go for a little walk so you can see the beam profile. Little alleyway, I suppose, and I'll go for a little walk, but I'll show you the beam profile first, just on the different modes: low, medium, high. Now low is actually picked up. I can see that a bit better than on the camera, but it's not much at all, a few meters. Medium is probably what you want, as you can see, and the beam is, you almost get a 160, maybe 160 degree beam, so just use this TIR lens. High, okay, that's probably what you want, medium to high, and you can see it tint the buildings down the back, but not really illuminate within the buildings. Turbo, and different story altogether. Go for a little walk. dingy little alleyway down here, and let's go through the different modes: low, medium, high, low, medium. Okay, and you're just in that dark space in the center, you can see, you know, maybe about 30 or so meters, okay, 20-30 or so meters before it just trails off. You're going to want to use that high mode. Still can't see really down the end. I can see a little bit. The camera's not picking it up. Something white that's flicking down the back. And turbo, much better. I mean, that reaches right down to the end fairly easily. It might be raining or something. No, there's just a bit of moisture coming from above me. I think that air conditioner is leaking some water. Let's go back to that high mode. Jeez. Where's that water dripping from? Up here. There we go. Back to that turbo mode. Sort of blows out the camera a little bit close by, but it's the only way really to demonstrate what it looks like getting right to the end. Okay, time to head back. Just down near the train tracks here in Melbourne, and I've got the SK03, and look, it's not really going to be, you know, much of a thrower, but let's have a look. You know, that's on turbo, so it throws about 100 or so meters on turbo, and everything up close here, like all these shrubs and trees, it picks up pretty well. Okay, even down here, for example, if you're walking through something pretty close by, you know, short to medium range, you're okay. You know, if we go to the other low, medium, high, that's high, all right, and you know, it does the job for anything close up, but further up you're definitely going to run into issues. But this is not a thrower, and that turbo is really handy. It actually manages to pick up a bit of a reflection on the end of that track out the back there, that train track. You know, anything up close does pretty well. Shift and go down here a bit, and yeah, not bad really. But you know, you do have to keep reactivating that turbo mode, because it does step down after 30 or so seconds, and you don't want to be doing it too often as well, given that you're running off a 14500 cell in there. Okay, but I do like the beam profile. It's something that's quite useful, and you know, just got a large hotspot, different from the usual throwers that I carry around with me.